And we had Kristofsky with us.
Oh, yeah. He was there.
Yeah, the criminal.
I wonder if he's gone back to Azerbaijan.
I hope so. He deserves to.
Maybe he's in Syria now.
What's he gone there for?
Don't know. In support of Lana, and then he realises maybe shouldn't have gone to Syria.
Yeah.
We'll see him in about 6 months' time.
On a video.
Or we'll see him back in the anniversary episode that we have yet to plan. We don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
And that's just around the corner, because it's like April now, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's April.
Oh, it's coming close to my birthday then.
Or it's late March. I don't know. One of them. I really should have checked that. I should have checked the calendar before we started recording.
Yeah.
But I lose all
you have to check the
calendar
just to remember what day it is, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I really do.
We don't even know what day it is today.
No, we don't. We know it's a Monday, but we don't know what Monday yet. So it's either a Monday in late March or early April.
Yeah.
Or I might just fuck us all over and just wait until December to air this one.
Yeah. Don't you just have those Monday blues today?
Yeah. I don't actually tend to work on a Monday, so my Monday's fine.
Yeah. I like that song, I don't like Mondays.
Oh, okay. The one that inspired that serial killing, or spree killer.
Didn't the killing inspire the song?
One or the other, I don't know, one of them.
I think the killing inspired the song.
Oh, okay then.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing to get Expiration could work. Inspiration from...
No, I do like that song. Mainly because it's about killing, I guess.
You like death.
Yeah.
Hence why we're doing this episode. Who suggested this episode again? Was it me or you?
It was you.
Was it me?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not the kind of thing I really find too often, actually.
I find the weird ones that no one actually cares about.
Yeah.
Whereas you find the well-known ones, and I'm just like, what the hell is that?
Or I find the Olaf Palm ones.
Yeah.
Which, that was exciting.
You know what? I was listening to... Because I listened to Thinking Sideways. I've told you about it before, right?
Yeah.
But I hadn't listened to them in like a couple of months, so I've been catching up on old episodes. Apparently, they've got Olaf Palm on their list.
To do?
Yeah, to do.
Wow.
We got there before them, and boy, are they going to enjoy doing that one.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was just us. Maybe we weren't at a good point in our lives when doing that episode.
I think I do kind of find it interesting. But
it's interesting, but boring at the same time.
I think it's just too much for like one kind of episode. Almost.
Yeah. And it was just the two of us, whereas Thinking Sideways, they got 3 people.
Yeah.
So it was just me and you for that episode.
Yeah, also...
It's me and you for most episodes. Oh, God, are all our episodes shit?
Yeah. we like, most of them we try and be funny, but there wasn't really... I don't think we found many funny things in that one.
No, I don't think we try and be funny. It's just because we're so stupid.
Yeah.
And it comes across, and I guess listeners might think that, we're doing it on purpose to sound funny. But no, we're just really, really that thick.
Yeah, Tom comes out with stupid stuff all the time.
Yeah, but then I do wonder with myself, because I'm really, really stupid some of the time, but then sometimes I'm actually quite smart. So I don't know where I fall. Maybe I should do one of those IQ tests.
I wouldn't if I was you.
Anyway, we've already talked about...
a supportive friend.
Yeah.
For you.
We've already talked about killings, and we haven't actually gone into what this episode is.
No.
It's about killing. Well, not killings, I guess.
Technically. Not technically it isn't, as far as...
Technically,
it's been presented to us.
Supposedly, they are suicides. Yeah, golden suicides.
Yeah.
I don't like that term, golden suicide, though, because it implies that it's a good thing.
Yeah. It's like golden showers. Kind of. You might think it sounds like a good thing, but... When you're actually there and it's happening to you.
You know from experience when they invited you round when Chris invited you round for a golden shower, and you thought it was going to be a good thing, and then you were confronted with that.
Yeah, I was so looking forward to it, and then suddenly it was all over me. I was kind of, let's move on.
Anyway, what are we forgetting?
Oh, intro music.
You need to find different ways of doing that, man.
I whisper it sometimes.
I've sort of run out. This is like episode 40 or 50 something, man. I don't know how many different ways we can do intro music.
We should do it as if we're really fed up with having to do it. Intro music.
Yeah, it's the bloody intro music again.
Yeah. Like teenagers. Just do it like teenagers.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
It's not fair.
It's just not right. Okay, it's just the intro music now. Okay, now I'm going to go to my room, and you just don't talk to me. Okay, just get out of my room.
You just don't understand me.
Yeah, you don't understand what I'm going through.
Well,
anyway, intro music.
Yeah, that's basically what we were trying to say.
Welcome to the Dorks Deduction Podcast, where we talk about stuff.
I love how every episode we say intro music about 20 times before we actually put in the intro music. Because at first I put it in after we said the first intro music, and then I let it carry on, and I was like, oh, we've said intro music another 3 times. I'll just put it at the end of it then, I guess.
What, at the end of the episode?
At the end of the intro music. At the end of our run of saying intro music.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is not an episode about our intro music, even though our intro music is fabulous.
Yeah,
it's about golden showers, apparently. No, it's the golden suicides.
I wish.
The golden suicides, which, me and Matt talked about briefly beforehand. I mean, we didn't even realise it was called the golden suicides until we started looking it up.
Yeah.
And it's not just in that Vanity Fair article. I was reading other articles as well. They call it the
Yeah, I've read it.
And apparently there's going to be a movie from Brett Ellison called The Golden Suicides based on this couple. But maybe we should go into what the Golden Suicides are, who they are, what led them to the suicides. Because, suicides is the only thing you'll probably understand from the Golden Suicide.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Nice cheerful.
Cheerful episode.
So, suicide then. What have we got to say about that?
So what about that then?
Yeah, should we talk about how they died first, I think?
No, I think we should just give them background on who they are first, and then we can
go into that's a good idea.
Death. We should probably tell them who these fucking people are, rather than going, oh, they committed suicide. Was there a conspiracy around it? So...
Well, that's essentially what we want to do.
Yeah, basically. But we need to give them some sort of background, even if it's brief.
Okay.
We even did it with bloody Elvis, and people know who Elvis are. People don't know who these people are.
So, we're talking about Theresa Duncan and Jeremy Blake, who were married to each other. They were very, very
No, they weren't
close.
married.
Oh, no, they...
No, they've just been together for about... They got together 1995... up until 2007, so 12 years they were together.
But they were almost like spiritually married. Everyone said they were very, very close.
Yeah, and apparently, like, from the moment they got together, they never spent a night apart. Which is a bit much for me, man.
Yeah.
I would not be able to do that.
I'd get fed up. I really would. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure I believe that. That kind of sounds just like something you say after someone's died like that.
Maybe
a couple like that.
I thought it was Theresa that had said it before they died, but okay.
Yeah, that's what kind of people say though after they die.
Okay, maybe
that kind of thing. So yeah, Theresa Duncan. Well, she was she wasn't so much like an art. Jeremy Blake was the artist.
Theresa Duncan, according to Wikipedia, she is a filmmaker, blogger, critic, and video game designer.
Yeah.
So the video games, apparently she was quite successful in it in the 90s. They were like click and play ones. I don't know what that means. But apparently there was quite a successful one called Chop Suey or something like that.
Yeah.
And they were targeted at females. Blogger, she did run her own blog, and that was active after her death because she must have pre-written some things and scheduled them to go out.
Yeah.
And critic, she had written for various different published works. And a filmmaker, she had one successful film called The History of Glamour, critically successful anyway, and that was screened at the 2000 Whitney Biennial.
Yeah.
And this will lead on to another part of the story at some point.
Yeah, and she was hoping to make another film.
Yes, that's the other part of the story at some point.
So yeah, but we'll get to that. But she sounds really interesting, actually.
She does.
Her interests sound interesting as well.
Yeah.
I read that on
Are you talking about her blogger profile?
Yeah, where it was like she was interested in film philology. I don't even know how you say that. It sounds interesting, though, whatever it is.
And old perfumes.
And Vietnam War memorabilia, book collecting.
I love how she has her favourite war.
Yeah, philately, card and coin trick. I thought that said cow tricks. And Napoleon, as well as the history of electricity. It's quite an eclectic range.
Yeah, she might
interest.
just be making a joke, because you should see my blogger profile, man. When it asked my interests, I just made joke after joke after joke. Pretty sure long walks on the beach is there.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I don't really care about beaches.
That is quite ironic, considering there's hardly any beaches near London.
Especially if I grew up in London.
Yeah.
Like,
You like walking along the Thames, basically.
I do like... I was doing... the other day, actually, I walked from London Bridge to Vauxhall along the Thames.
Really? How far
I was
is
with
that?
I don't know. I can't remember how long or how far we walked, but it's a fair distance. But that was just because we were walking, and then we decided not to stop.
I should say now that these two do sound a bit hipsterish, don't they?
Oh, a bit.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, more than fucking bit.
Although, I don't necessarily mind that.
Yeah. Well, you like your hipsters. Anyway, so Jeremy, he didn't have as many strings to his bow as Theresa did. He was, according to Wikipedia again, a digital artist and painter. He was quite successful in his fields. I mean, he worked with the likes of Paul Thomas Anderson and Beck, who, again, will factor later on in the story.
Yeah, I won't reveal this time what that is about. He designed the abstract hallucination scenes in Paul Thomas Anderson's film Punch Drunk Love. I think I said that right.
Yeah, you did.
So I think, he was I think he was critically acclaimed in kind of...
He was.
The whole kind of...
They were both pretty damn successful, like, known in their respective industries.
Yeah. They had some, famous friends, I guess.
Yes. Again, we'll come on to that later.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll try not to spoil too much. On the day, or was it night? I probably should have written down the day or night or whatever.
I think it was during the day that Duncan...
Okay, well, whatever. On the 10th of July, 2007, Jeremy Blake came home to his New York apartment to find Theresa Duncan lifeless.
Yeah.
And her death was eventually ruled a suicide through the mixture of Tylenol, and alcohol, specifically champagne, which shows you how these people live if they're just drinking champagne around the house.
Yeah.
Like, isn't that usually for special occasions?
Yeah, some people do, but she clearly didn't, because I read that she was drinking.
Yeah, she was drinking it like every day.
Yeah.
But I think that was also part of her little paranoia thing that we'll go into in a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the 10th of July, Theresa Duncan was found dead. On the 17th of July, a week later, Jeremy Blake was spotted walking into the oceans. He'd left his clothes and wallet behind, as well as a business card with a note that said, "I'm going to join the lovely Theresa" on the back.
Yeah.
And eventually his body was found by fishermen on the 22nd of July.
Yeah. Which I noticed Wikipedia didn't reveal that.
Did it not?
I didn't see it on there. I was trying to look on Wikipedia to say whether his body was found. Because it says it in the Vanity Fair article. But I couldn't see it on Wikipedia.
It said it on a couple of things that I read, but I read Wikipedia last, so I got all my notes down first and went to Wikipedia for, like, dates and things.
Yeah, because when I first read Wikipedia, I just assumed his body had never been found.
Well, listeners, if you're listening out there and you're about to do an essay, Wikipedia does not have all the answers.
Yeah.
Yeah. We did our extra research to find this information.
Yeah, we're dedicated.
Yeah, dedicated to our craft. I try and avoid Wikipedia anyway.
Yeah.
I let you read the Wikipedia and fill in all the blanks that I have.
I try to avoid using Wikipedia now, since you started having a go at me.
I didn't have a go at you, it's just I realised that you'd reading it word for word.
Well,
and it's bad that I knew that off by heart. I knew that Limburg Junior kidnapping Wikipedia page off by heart. I'd read it that often that I knew that you were reading it word for word.
I thought Wikipedia said it very well, and I do not want to change it.
Okay. Anyway, where the hell were we?
He just walked into the sea, and his body was found.
So, after his death, his mother did comment about it, and it said... I don't know if she said it to press or she said it to someone, obviously, that Johnny didn't... Johnny? Who's Johnny? Jeremy didn't die from love, but from pain and an inability to find a way out of it.
Yeah.
Which I think that's quite a nice... I know his son's just died, but that's a quite nice way of putting it.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really good quote, so I didn't care how I was going to put it in this episode, but I was going to put it in this episode.
Okay.
Okay.
You got that in there then.
Yeah. Right, so, you know what? Suicides are always more interesting to me than murder, because you can always sort of... Like, people have a motive for murder, whether they're a serial killer and their victim fits their MO, or whether it's like a rage killing. Whereas with a suicide, unless someone's, like, written a lengthy letter before they die... then we don't actually quite know why they've done it.
Yeah.
And also, one second, I forgot that Theresa did leave a note as well, saying, I love you all. But again, that doesn't tell me anything.
No.
So their notes were just goodbyes. There's no reasoning why. So there's always questions with suicides.
Well, I think with the Blake one, you can reasonably assume he's quite upset about losing Theresa. So
I guess.
I think you could put that on there as one of his
probably.
reasons.
I just find it strange that if something's ruled a suicide, that case is closed.
Yeah, but, well, I think that's just determining what happened rather than how. That's not interesting to the coroner or...
Yeah, I guess not. So, anyway, we should probably...
Should we get
talk about why we're doing an episode on suicides?
Yeah. So,
Okay,
we're not doing this episode just to talk about suicide.
Because we've just done that, so, like, it will be a really short episode.
Yeah, so, and we'd be saying bye right now.
Yeah, but it would be really nice to edit.
Yeah.
10 minutes, people, bye.
Yeah, we'd love that. Yeah, well, one of the reasons why this is interesting to us is because there's a connection to the Church of Scientology in this whole story.
Yeah, and if you hadn't noticed from the cults episode, we have an opinion on the Church of Scientology.
We love it, don't we, Tarman?
I'm a member, so...
Yeah. Because I was actually thinking, because the Church of Scientology is present in this country, so if anyone's listening to this, they better not give out our addresses, because they could find us.
Yeah, like, that's what I've actually sort of worried about, because... I mean, it's not like we're getting thousands and thousands of downloads per episode, but people are downloading it.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering, because, like, sometimes we don't think before we speak.
Yeah.
And I don't think before I edit, so I don't edit it out.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, we must offend some people. And I actually edit out most of the most offensive shit and leave the rest in. So could you imagine how bad it gets?
Yeah.
Like, that Jimmy Savile episode is just, it's on my CV.
What, Jimmy Savile?
No, this podcast is on my CV. So Jimmy Savile was on my CV. So we have to do more and more episodes just till we bury the Jimmy Savile one.
We need redemption for that, don't we?
Yes.
But they could just listen to the, Scientologists could just happen to listen to them.
The thing is, I've heard that Scientologists, they do scour the internet for people that are commenting on them. So basically, we have... Like, I'm sure in our cults episode, in the tags, we had Scientology. In this tag, we're definitely going to have Scientology. So they could easily find it, but how are they going to harass us other than email?
Yeah.
And to be honest, we're not a massive podcast that like I said, we don't get thousands of downloads an episode. I mean, are they actually going to bother? I mean, it's not like we're popular enough. If we were...
It's not as if we're going to have an influence on people.
Exactly.
Believing. Stuff.
Yeah, I mean, some people, there must be a fair few people that listen to us, because we do get people downloading, but it's nowhere near the heights that would get us in the ire of Scientologists.
Yeah.
So I think we're safe, to be honest.
I don't think Sumia's going to be spreading our message much about Scientology. So
no. Hi, Sumia.
Hi.
But yeah, I think we're safe from the Scientologists, because they won't care enough about us, so we're good.
But I'm still not going to say anything bad about them from now on.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so you still
yeah, I'm still here.
Right.
So anyway, we should probably get back to the topic at hand.
Yeah.
So Theresa and Jeremy, they committed suicide, and we are going to discuss what. Yeah, we're going to discuss. Yeah, but then we went off topic for a while, so I'm just bringing it back, doing like a recap.
Yeah.
So now we're going to discuss why they could have done so. So, like I mentioned before, Theresa, she had a job as she was a filmmaker, and The History of Glamour was critically successful. And due to that, she ended up getting a 2-picture deal from Fox Searchlight. because of that, Jeremy and Theresa moved from New York to Los Angeles, which I always feel like I always thought that was an odd thing, because they're both artists, and New York is for artists.
Yeah.
And Los Angeles seems like it's for fakes. So how the hell would they adapt to that? And clearly they didn't.
Not very well, so...
Not very well. So, Theresa's follow-up to The History of Glamour was supposed to be titled Alice Underground, and she had claimed in an interview to somebody that Beck, who had worked with Jeremy Blake earlier on in his career...
Yeah.
In 2002, that's it, 2002, it was on a Beck album cover.
Yeah.
So who had worked with Jeremy before was going to be starring in the film as his film debut.
Yeah.
Eventually he came out and denied that, and he denied actually being close friends with them, and saying that he had worked with Jeremy and they were acquaintances, but there was nothing there, which is fair enough, because I've worked for people and we're just work colleagues. I mean, we don't go out after work constantly hanging out. Which makes sense to me.
But this is interesting, though, because there's evidence that was not so. And that comes from, I think, photos that were taken with... Apparently there were photos on the internet.
I don't take stock in that, because if something's on the internet, it's never gone. So if there was photos on the internet, it should still be somewhere there.
Yeah, but one was put on Tumblr of...
in 2013, apparently.
Yeah,
apparently.
Yeah, at the beach or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also, Beck, apparently, he denied that he was going to be in this film, or he'd ever agreed to be in it. But I was reading, I think, one article that said he gave an interview to an Italian newspaper saying he was going to be in a film that sounds, very similar to this film that Theresa was thinking of making. He also refers to a female director, so...
Yeah, and he described it as like Alice in Wonderland in the 70s.
Yeah.
So we've read the same articles again.
Yeah.
So anyway, I know people are wondering why the hell are we talking about Beck? But if you didn't realise, Beck is a Scientologist who is married to a Scientologist whose twin is a Scientologist. God, they just hang out with each other, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, so Beck's a Scientologist, because if he didn't seem weird enough...
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with being a lunatic. A Scientologist. Yes, sir.
I thought you weren't going to insult Scientology.
Did I? What? I just said Scientologist.
Oh, okay. Yeah, all right, then. I don't think the edit that's going to go up said that.
Okay. Yeah, because he's a Scientologist, and this is where it all comes from, isn't it, I think?
Pretty much. So what happened is Alice Underground, it sort of hit development hell.
Yeah.
And eventually it was sold off to Paramount Pictures.
Yeah.
And if people didn't realise, Tom jumping on a sofa cruise, his production office is based in Paramount Studios.
Yeah.
And again, if people didn't know this, Tom Cruise is a Scientologist. I know, shock horror.
Yeah. But I love Tom Cruise. I think he's a brilliant actor. Wonderful actor.
So when Alice Underground went to Paramount, it basically stopped. I mean, the development stopped. There was nothing going on with it. It's basically been cancelled, essentially.
Yeah.
Which happens more often than not, really.
Yeah.
Because out of all the films that are in production or in pre-production or the screenplays that have been bought, how many of them actually make it to screen? Not many.
Yeah.
There's only a select few.
But I think this hit Theresa Duncan quite hard, didn't it?
Just a bit.
Because I was reading that Vanity Fair article, and it also implied that she was a little bit fame hungry. Like she wanted to be known. I think that's what was implied.
All
I'm
those
not
different
sure
occupations.
Yeah, I think any kind of artist wants to be kind of known. Well, pretty much most of them do.
I guess.
I don't necessarily mean the fame hungry as in kind of like reality television kind of stuff.
I feel like most artists, they want to be appreciated. Doesn't necessarily mean they need to be known. But then some artists do want to be famous. But then if the people that are doing art to become famous, I don't really see them as artists, to be honest.
As an artist, you want to have an impact, though. So
as an artist, you want to produce something that changes people's perceptions of something or changes people's thoughts or feelings.
Yeah.
That's what I feel. If you're intending to be an artist to be famous, then your art is shallow.
Yeah.
and vapid, and I don't really... Yeah.
I don't think you could say that with Theresa Duncan, though.
We'll see. If Alice Underground ever made it to production and we saw it, maybe we would have found that out.
Yeah. I think it sounds
just all
kind of
superficial.
interesting, but some people said it was a bit boring. the
Maybe.
idea.
Well, it never made it to production, and loads of shit movies make it to production, so...
It's sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we should probably move on now.
Yeah, let's press on.
With Beck, Duncan claimed that Beck wanted to leave the Church of Scientology. Now, Beck obviously denies this. One of the rumours I've heard was that the Scientologists believed Duncan and Blake were having a kind of negative impact on
they
Beck.
were, like, becoming oppressive. What was the term? Oppressive people or something?
Yeah.
Or suppressive, one of them.
Yeah. So they were worried about the influence they had on Beck. But obviously, they should point out the Scientologists, like people like Tom Cruise's Paramount Office or whatever it is you were talking about. They deny that they ever even knew who Jeremy Blake and Theresa Duncan were. So, but they would do.
Yeah, but then again, Paramount is a massive studio, right? And Tom Cruise has an office there. He doesn't own Paramount.
Yeah.
He doesn't run it day to day. How many projects go through there day to day?
Yeah.
So I don't actually feel... I know, like... I don't like Scientology. I'm going to openly say that. But I don't openly feel that just because that project ended up at Paramount means Scientology had something to do with it going dead.
Yeah.
Because I'm fairly open-minded. I mean, I know the industry's a fickle place and it eats people up and spits it out, no matter what religion or cult is part of it.
Yeah.
So I don't think it necessarily means that, the Scientologists tank the project.
But,
or maybe the producers just thought, this Theresa Blake woman's a bit mental, so I don't want to work with her.
Yeah. So, it does kind of sound like Theresa Duncan was looking for reasons why her film wasn't getting made. And she kind of zoned in on the Scientologists by the looks of it.
Yeah.
I think Blake in particular, I think, blamed Tom Cruise.
Well, yeah, because Tom Cruise is the picture boy of Scientology.
Yeah, so you would do. But I think he also accused...
I love this bit.
Yeah, he also accused people like Miranda July, Paul Thomas Anderson, who he worked with before, and who made a film about Scientology, I think.
Yeah, he did.
The Master, isn't it? Or something like that.
Yeah.
And, well, again, he accused Beck as well of, misconduct, which I'm not entirely sure what that means.
Yeah. And Tom Cruise and Beck are the only two... Well, I think there was more people that were accused as well.
Yeah.
And Tom Cruise and Beck were the only two that were actually Scientologists.
Yeah. I know Paul Thomas Anderson's friends with Tom Cruise.
You could be friends with someone and not be inducted into the cult.
But I think that might be where that came from.
Possibly.
Because people there's conspiracy... Well, there's theories that a load of celebrities are Scientologists. Doubt any of them are actually true. I guess
I think the Will Smith one, his wife one, is true, though. I think they're probably Scientologists. Their kids are weird enough.
So basically, you say if they got weird kids, they've got to be Scientologists.
Or no, because I think Scientology stops you from raising your children correctly, and they don't seem to be raising their children at all.
Yeah.
I mean, they go off and let their... How old are they now? I don't know, they're like early teens, right?
Yeah, I think...
So for years, these kids have been doing whatever the hell they like.
Yeah.
Like, with no filter, and their parents are okay with it and encourage it.
Isn't that a lot of celebrity children, though?
Not always.
I don't know.
Or most celebrity children, you don't actually hear much from until they're a bit older and they want their own fame. Whereas these kids, they're just children. Ground them. Tell them they can get an after-school job at Starbucks, but they have to go to school. And the Smiths, they donated, like, a lot of money to Scientology. That's another reason why.
But that's a good point, actually.
Yeah. Probably should have led with that, then they've got weird kids.
Yeah.
But I like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, so...
So the actors who are Scientologists, they tend to make shit films, don't they? So
because they just work with each other, I think.
Yeah.
Well, Giovanni Ribisi, who is Beck's brother-in-law, who I was talking about, he's twins with Beck's wife.
Yeah.
He's like been small parts of decent things. Like, I liked Ted.
Yeah.
And I liked Friends.
You liked Friends? The TV series?
Yeah, he played Phoebe's brother.
Ah, right. Okay.
So he's been small parts of decent things.
Yeah, well, that's debatable. So yeah, what was I trying? But yeah, this whole they did seem very paranoid about Scientology, because I was reading the Vanity Fair article, and it seemed like they started going after some of their neighbours who were also friends. I'm not sure about how.
Yeah, they
close.
were in the industry.
Yeah, and they made their friends sign like loyalty pacts or something like that.
And then if they didn't, they'd like hurl abuse at them and send threatening emails.
Yeah, there's one particular couple, and it's quite an interesting encounter, these two.
Yeah. It's
there's-
Catherine O'Brien and Brad Schley you're talking about, right?
Yeah, and there's a bit of an age gap, which you might not think sounds important right now, but it kind of does. And Blake had gone away for something, and it's just quite uncharacteristic. So he left Duncan alone, and she went to the bungalow of this couple, and then the first instance was to say, Theresa said, "Jeremy and I have started a club where we found a bunch of old men and we're letting them fuck us in the ass. And we wanted to know if you wanted to be part of it." And now this is it, Catherine. She thought Theresa was joking because her husband was... there's a bit of an age gap, I think, wasn't there?
Well, Catherine was 25 and Brad was 41.
So at first,
16 years.
So at first she thought she was joking, but then it seemed Theresa was actually quite serious. So she was left a bit unsure about that. And then Theresa returned to the bungalow like a few times, and then just kept asking if she was a Scientologist. And this person, Catherine O'Brien, says she's got no connection with Scientology. I think there's no reason not to believe her, is there?
No.
And she's not amazingly well known, is she? This Catherine O'Brien.
Well, I've never heard of her until this article.
No.
So I don't know if she's an actress, but I know that Brad Schley, he's like a producer or a director or something. So yeah, to be honest, she's probably a wannabe actress.
So yeah, and that's basically... they also said that Theresa had been acting very strangely, and that like she had weird jerking movements in her face and her hands, and there's lots of twitching. And she was constantly going on about Scientology. And I like the bit where apparently she heard her cackling and hooting from the alley.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes me laugh a bit. And apparently it was like that with a lot of the friends as well. And a lot of friendships ended because of it.
They filtered through their friendships. They were disposing of their friends themselves.
Yeah.
And the remaining ones, they had to sign an oath.
Yeah.
Which is fucking weird, man. If you made me sign an oath, I'd probably slap you over the head with it.
Yeah.
I was like, all the shit we've been through, all the stupid stuff we've said together to each other when we're together, and you make me sign this oath. I think there's enough trust that we will not spill each other's beans.
Yeah, oaths always sound a bit like, kind of, what you could do if it's going to be broken. I mean, you can
was
kill
it like
me,
a blood
commit
oath?
suicide, or what?
Yeah.
It's always a bit strange. Yeah, I also missed a bit where Theresa Duncan was shrieking, and she was calling this Catherine a cult whore and a cult hooker.
Yeah.
That sounds actually very frightening. Actually, if someone starts shouting.
So understandably, Catherine and Brad, they complained to Duncan and Blake's landlord, saying that they'd get police involved if they lived there. Which I'd do as well, to be honest. If someone was coming up to my house asking me to join in like a rape, an anal orgy or something like that, and then calling me a Scientologist whore, accusing me of being a Scientologist, which is a great insult to me, because I'm not that gullible. I'd probably do the same thing, to be honest.
I'd also
to be honest,
try and
I don't think I would have been able to hold my cool as much as Catherine and Brad did, because they let this go on for months.
Yeah. But
Like, after the first or second time, I would have been like, fuck this shit.
also,
I'm egging this bitch's house.
would you not try and get a help play? If you're a friend...
No. If she was
friend
my
and
friend...
someone started doing that...
that's true. If she was my friend, it would be different. If it was a neighbour, fuck that bitch.
Yeah.
If it was my friend, I'd probably try and help. But we don't know how close they were. I think they hung out with each other, but it doesn't mean they're friends.
Yeah. Could be one of those, like, fake things. If it is Los Angeles, I mean, you can imagine that. She's clearly disturbed. If you were a friend, you'd try and do something about it.
Yeah, if I was a friend, if it was a neighbour, go fuck herself.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
Yeah. Yeah, and that led to them being evicted. I'm not sure if you said that. Yeah.
That's what I was saying.
And I'm not sure how much that hit them. I'm not sure.
Well, they moved back to New York afterwards, which their friends thought would be a good thing for them, seeing as though they went down here mentally and emotionally when they moved to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Which is what happens, I guess.
Yeah.
We're insulting LA so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, so they moved back to New York, but then their problems still continued, and they still blamed Scientology. Like, there was, Theresa, she'd written an article about perfume for a website or a magazine or something, and the editor had noticed that the first sentence was completely the same as another post from another blogger.
Yeah.
That was done months ago. And Theresa said that she didn't plagiarise. What happened was that a Scientologist had written that and backdated it to discredit her and defame her, which, again, is very far-fetched. Well, maybe far-fetched. It's far-fetched to the people that were involved, clearly, because they distanced themselves with her.
Yeah.
And all these friends distancing themselves, they made them run straight into the arms of a man named Frank Morales, whose ex-wife wrote the Vanity Fair article.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she had insight to the craziness of her husband and his friends.
Yeah, and
he was... Yeah, okay, you can carry on then.
Well, he's a big kind of like... he's a truther, isn't it? I think that's what they call him.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of particularly
also
about 9/11.
known as a crazy conspiracy theorist.
Yeah. Loony people.
Yeah.
I think that's what they're called.
Yeah, that's the correct pronunciation.
He was also like a leftist activist as well and stuff like that. So that's where a lot of the 9/11 theories tend to come from as well. Because he was actually a priest, wasn't he, or something?
Yeah. See, I don't know if he was a real priest or if he would dubbed himself like some holy man.
Because I couldn't remember. He taught like...
Are priests allowed to get married?
Proper ones aren't. Catholic ones aren't allowed
so
to get
then
married.
He can't have been a real one because he was married to the other woman, the woman that wrote the article.
It does sound a bit like an alternative kind of church to me.
So I don't think he was a real priest, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I think he might have dubbed himself as a priest.
But I think he had a place where he used to like meet people, his kind of followers or disciples.
Yeah.
And
So it was basically a cult, to be honest.
And I think they lived upstairs. Yeah, they lived upstairs from where he used to meet or something like that, I think. And they grew very close. Like they were quite good friends with him. And he certainly had an impact on them, and particularly Blake, who had started to get into the whole truth stuff. And because there's a person in America that does some kind of podcast or some kind of show. Is it Alex Jones? He does some kind of conspiracy theory show.
Not heard it, no.
Yeah, but interestingly, I read on this is a forum, so this is entirely a rumour, but there's a rumour that Alex Jones is a Scientologist, or secretly is a Scientologist. He apparently...
If I was a Scientologist, I'd keep it a secret.
Yeah.
Don't want people knowing I'm that way inclined.
Yeah, I mean, if I was a Scientologist, I'd probably walk into the ocean myself, actually.
So you're saying Jeremy Blake?
No, I'm not saying he's a Scientologist, but I'd want to do something similar. I'd known my life's gone wrong when I became a Scientologist. So yeah, because I'm not sure whether people believe he had a negative impact on them. I mean, he was meant to help them.
I think he probably encouraged their paranoia.
Yeah, I can't imagine that helping them much.
Yeah, I don't think he would have helped them at all. I think he probably made it worse. I mean, for all we know, when they moved back to New York, everything would have been fine if they hadn't met this guy.
Yeah. Also, from what I was reading, Blake, to friends, he didn't seem quite as paranoid as Theresa. So
no, I think it all started with Theresa.
Yeah, he used to apologise for her and stuff like that. But then somewhere along the line, he started to get it too. And I think it's when he met this Frank Morales and started getting interested in the whole truth thing. Cause he was before he died, he was about to release some kind of lawsuit, wasn't he?
Was it?
Yeah.
The 27-page lawsuit thing.
Lawsuit. Yeah. I can't remember who it was against, but it was alleging Scientologist misconduct or something, wasn't it? I think.
Yes.
And so he'd been about to release that. So he clearly had got the bug as well. So I think we've covered.
Yeah, I think we covered almost everything.
It's now, is it true or not? I guess.
Yeah. In my opinion, I don't think Scientologists are above harassing people because we know they've harassed people.
Yeah.
And we know they've pushed them to suicide, no matter how much they deny it. They clearly have. And we know that allegedly they have they may have offed people.
Yeah.
But in this case here, I don't really believe that it was the Scientologists at fault.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I think that Theresa, she just couldn't handle the fact that she wasn't up to this lifestyle, and she decided to blame someone, and she blamed the Scientologists.
Yeah.
And it just is like a delusion that grew over time. She convinced herself so much.
Yeah.
And she got paranoid by it. And then Jeremy, they were in like a ridiculously codependent relationship, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
And Jeremy adopted this. And like you said before, at the beginning, it was more Theresa than him. So, yeah, I think it was more that.
Yeah.
And then at one day, she just couldn't handle it anymore.
Yeah.
Could have been an accidental overdose. You never know, because she seemed like she was a bit of a lush by the end.
Yeah.
I mean, she seemed like she was drinking a lot, so it could have been accidental, her one. But I personally, I mean, I think Scientology is horrible, and they do a lot of horrible things. I never thought I'd say this, but I don't think that this was them.
Yeah. I have to agree. I'm slightly sceptical. I did read one forum that said the Scientologists may have started out doing something to them, and that they just completely kind of overreacted. But I'm not sure I even believe that.
Aren't artists like emotional people?
It can be, yeah. And also,
So,
I was thinking about Los Angeles as well. There's a bit of drug use there, isn't there, I guess?
yeah, that's what I was thinking, like, when I was reading up about it. I was like, how often did they use the drugs? Because it's not just Los Angeles, it's just artsy type people. I'm not saying all people that work in the arts do drugs.
Yeah.
But it gets offered around, and you say yes sometimes.
Yeah.
So how was there regular drug use in their life?
Yeah.
Because shit like LSD, if you use it for long periods of time, even if you're not addicted or you're not doing it anymore, it can have some long-term effects, right?
Yeah. Well, that's what I was thinking, because the whole paranoia, that can come with drugs. I mean, if you smoke the wrong type of marijuana, that can happen to you, can't
Yeah,
it? So,
it does.
Yeah, so I just think it's partly their lifestyle. And also, I just think Theresa Duncan was looking for a reason for why her film didn't get made.
Yeah, that's what I think as well.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd be defending Scientologists.
Yeah, but I wouldn't rule out there's possibly some chance.
No, I think that they are completely capable of doing this.
Yeah.
And I think that they have done so in the past. I mean, you've heard about it. Like, people that break away from the Church of Scientology, they write about it and they talk about it. They try to anyway. And then they get harassed by Scientologists and their lawyers and stuff.
Yeah.
But,
To be fair to Theresa Duncan and Blake, you know, with Beck, he seems to have tried to revise history there. Whether the Scientologists, I'm just not sure the Scientologists have been that concerned about these two.
I don't think it would, but I think Beck probably, it makes sense if he did know them that he tried to distance himself from that.
Yeah.
Because, come on, look how crazy they got.
Yeah.
And how they were blaming him, they were blaming Scientology. Obviously, he'd want to distance himself from that. And what if they were close at some point? They had a falling out. So why would he want to lump himself in with that? Because if he did, it would be giving what they're saying some sort of credence.
But you know...
So I'd understand Beck trying to revise history.
Yeah. But it does make you think, though.
No, I think Scientology is into some shady shit. I just don't think this is one of them.
Yeah.
Wow,
I think it's a sad story.
Yeah, it's a sad story. I can't believe we completely agreed on everything. So we actually have nothing to discuss.
Not really. Yeah,
Should have thought this through, really.
I'm trying to make a case for why it could happen, but...
I think it could...
It's plausible.
It is possible because they've done it before. I just think in this case, I mean, especially if one of the downward spirals is her movie not getting made, I mean, that might not have anything to do with Scientology. Chances are it doesn't have anything to do with Scientology.
Yeah.
Because it happens every bloody day. I mean, you see established filmmakers that can't get a film made. I mean, it's difficult. I mean, even if the script's good, if the director's good, the producer's good, sometimes it just doesn't come together.
Yeah.
And that's just what happens in that business. It doesn't mean that there's someone out to get you.
Yeah.
It might not be anything personal. It just means it's not time.
I don't really...
That, and she seemed fucking batshit crazy, okay? The stuff that she did to her neighbours. She's making her existing friends sign oaths
Yeah.
I mean, that just seems
I clearly
insane.
think by then she'd gone a bit mentally.
Yeah.
I think she'd clearly gone awry. She clearly needed help by that stage.
Yeah, I think at the very least, if Scientologists were involved, it would have been at the beginning saying, okay, maybe you don't make this film. Or, well, we don't actually know what the film is about.
Yeah, I can't. That's the one point I can't. It's about a rock star. It can't be.
And if Beck was attached, at the beginning, when he was still immersed in Scientology.
Yeah. I can't remember if I read somewhere it's about a rock star trying to leave some cult or something.
Yeah.
If that's what it's about, then maybe I could understand why the Scientologists wouldn't want that film to be made.
Well, if the cult wasn't called Scientology, there's no problem with it as long as Beck's not in it. So all they have to do is get an actor. Actually,
if Beck was in it,
if Beck was still attached to Scientology and he was in the film, then I think that's safer for Scientologists, because people will be thinking, why the hell would a Scientologist let their Scientologist be in a movie about Scientology that doesn't show them in a good light?
Yeah.
Clearly it's about something else.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense to you whatsoever.
Yeah. If Theresa Duncan's claim that Beck wanted to leave Scientology was true, and he was going to be in this film about, rock star leaving cult or something.
The thing is, he's a celebrity. It's so much easier for celebrities to leave Scientology than it is for regular people. I mean, because horror stories you hear about are from regular people.
Yeah.
The celebrities tend to stay there, and whenever they do leave, there's, no ramifications. Like, when Leah Remini left, she left, and she's a celebrity. They can't hassle her because she has the media on her side.
Yeah, but I think
it's only the little people they bully.
Her, didn't they?
I mean, yeah, but they can only take it so far. It's the little people that they bully.
Because wasn't there
so
a wife
if Beck wanted to leave, I think... Pardon?
Well, not the founder. There was a wife of someone who's very high up, wasn't there?
Yeah, David Miscavige, the head of Scientology.
Yeah.
She apparently was missing. We should really do an episode on her.
Yeah.
She was missing. She hadn't been seen since Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes' wedding.
Yeah.
And Leah Remini, she filed a police report saying that this person is missing. No one's seen her in I don't know, it was a number of years.
Yeah.
And apparently the police went to their house and they said they saw her.
Yeah.
And they left.
How do we know the police aren't?
How do we know that was Michelle Miscavige? We don't know. But I do think Scientology is immersed in crazy shit. I just don't think this is it.
Yeah.
I just think... like I was... Actually, before you interrupt me, I was saying before, the very least I think they'd do is they'd ask her to revise the script or something. And I think she probably would go along with it if she wanted to success that bad and wants to make a movie that bad.
Yeah.
So she'd go along with it.
But we know they can be intimidating, so...
Oh, yeah, they definitely are. But I don't think they did this, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't think they would care. It's like us on this podcast. We insult them all the time. I don't think they're going to care about us. They're not going to bother dealing with us because we don't have a following. Whereas these people, they were known in their little...
Yeah.
Their communities, but outside that, in the mainstream world, with audiences and stuff, how popular were they?
Not really.
I mean, they became more popular post-mortem than they did during life.
They're more kind of... The people they worked for were more well-known, to be fair.
Yeah.
So, also, what I was going to say is, most of the people they accused of being Scientologists weren't even Scientologists.
Yeah, I know.
So...
Well, not publicly anyway, because like we
public.
mentioned before, people could secretly be Scientologists.
Also, Paul Thomas Anderson managed to make a film about Scientology.
Yeah,
I know
if he's friends with Tom Cruise.
Yeah, I know he's got a bit more.
He's got more clout.
Yeah, but still, he didn't get killed for that, so or bumped off.
Yeah, he's got more clout.
Yeah,
and but he's not like
I can't imagine him
Steven
being a
Spielberg or something.
Yeah. I can't imagine him being a Scientologist, but...
I don't think he is. I can't imagine him being a Scientologist either.
Yeah, I can't... The other person, Miranda July, she didn't seem to me to be a Scientologist either. I don't know much about her, but she didn't come across as someone who did be like that.
No.
God, we actually agreed for once.
We agreed the whole episode. This is going to be the most boring episode.
We didn't even come up with, an alternative theory,
Maybe the aliens did it. Maybe Scientologists are right.
Yeah.
Okay, and to back them up, the aliens came out of the volcanoes that they're living in.
Yeah.
Right? And they bullied Theresa and Jeremy and until they killed themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. It was the aliens. The aliens did it.
Or perhaps the alien or the whatever that's inhabiting Tom Cruise's body did it. I think of some film Tom
Cruise wouldn't do it himself. I mean, he'd pay someone else to do it. He's not going to get his hands dirty.
No, but you don't know Tom Cruise. I mean, such a brilliant actor. I mean, he could just
Do you want to know
transform
what annoys
himself.
me most about Tom Cruise?
What?
Is like he acts like he's the nicest person in the world.
Yeah.
That really rubs me up the wrong
I know.
way.
I hear all those actors and actresses say, "Oh, he's really nice to work with,"
and
he's
then they
clearly
just
not
seem
that
like
nice.
it's because I feel like it's in their contract that they have to say that.
Yeah.
But that's one of the major things that irks me about Tom Cruise. Like, he wouldn't bother me as much as if he seemed like a normal person. Like, to be honest, I don't really care about religions or people that are religious. I mean, Scientology, I see it as a cult. Some people see it as religion, but I see most religions as a cult.
Yeah.
Religions don't bother me as long as the people that practice them don't bother me about it.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, yeah, Tom Cruise are just... Yeah.
There's always that one numpty that takes it
If
too
he
far.
seemed more normal, I probably wouldn't care.
Yeah.
But he doesn't. He's overly nice and friendly, and it's quite annoying.
I think it's the world that it takes place in as well. The whole Los Angeles kind of world.
Yeah, it's the fakery.
Yeah, it's all feels...
We've insulted LA so much this episode. My family live there.
Oh, God. You better get them out.
I've spent time there.
Oh, I hope you go again.
I haven't been back since, to be honest.
Yeah.
And
Would
then
you want
I
to,
asked
though?
why, and I said, well, if I go to America again, I'm going to New York.
Yeah. New
I
York
don't particularly want to go to California again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't actually know if there's anything else that we could say, because we agreed, and this is so weird for us. We agreed for the past hour.
Yeah. I you know, this is a bit more... This is not quite so related, but I think it's sad that two people are clearly... I think they were talented.
Yeah, they were
And
talented.
you consider some of the shit that comes out of Hollywood and stuff like that. It's a shame they didn't kind of get the success they wanted.
But to be fair, if like they fell at the first hurdle and they deteriorated, then they're not cut out for this shit.
Yeah.
Because it takes a strong stomach and a strong person to work in Hollywood. Because I know we bitch and moan a lot about these actors and directors and stuff, but they're actually doing it. And Hollywood is a horrible place to work in.
Yeah.
So credit to them for surviving, but these people, clearly they wouldn't have survived long if they did make their way in the industry.
Yeah.
I mean, if they couldn't handle the first hurdle that was chucked at them, because this happens to so many people, they just move on to the next project, because that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're talented, but they weren't cut out for Hollywood life. They're just
I
stuck
don't know,
to New
if
York.
they kept their sanity, maybe.
Well, clearly they...
Yeah, but if you
they
get
lost
into-
their sanity because they couldn't handle it.
Yeah, but if you get... but if they're taking drugs as well, which I should say...
We don't know they are.
But-
We don't know they were.
You've got a lifestyle as well, though. I'm
Yeah, and you
guessing.
don't have
Can't
to take
help.
drugs for crying out loud. And just because someone offers
Yeah.
it doesn't mean you have to take it.
I think you'd deal better with the kind of disappointment better if you weren't kind of taking drugs and alcohol.
Yeah, again,
Which, as I said,
We
I'm
don't know
not
if-
totally sure, but it's not
I mean,
impossible.
we weren't sure about the alcohol because she was drinking it on a daily basis. She was drinking like a bottle of champagne on a
Yeah.
daily basis up until her death.
Yeah.
So we are sure about that. It's just the drugs that we're not sure.
Yeah.
You know what scared me is that like she was killed from Tylenol. I take that all the time because they are the best painkillers.
Yeah.
Like whenever I'm not actually going to say what I was going to say, but I take it all the time. I'll tell you after we finish recording. Right? Because it's so much better than Nurofen or paracetamol. So I got scared. And I was like, shit, I could OD on this shit. No wonder my mum tries to keep it away from me.
Oh, God, we're not going to be doing a podcast about you, are we? When you've taken too much.
No, I haven't taken too much of anything yet, apart from food.
Yeah, but food's understandable. Food's really nice.
Yeah, but until
Doesn't
we
kill
can't
you.
move. Like, remember when we were at Wagamama's and I'd finished eating, right? And then I got up to go to the toilet and it took me about 10 minutes to get up.
Really? I didn't notice that.
Well, it took me a very long time, not 10 minutes.
But it's difficult to get off those benches, though.
Yeah, that's
I had a
true.
lot of
As
trouble
well
getting
as
off
with a
there.
full stomach.
Yeah. God, those benches are really annoying.
I know, why can't they just have
I had
chairs?
to literally crawl off that.
I know. I slide off. I have to make sure everyone gets off and slide off. But then what's awkward is if I'm sitting in the middle and they're all sitting there and I'm trying to get in. And I have to just like, I don't know how, just like become a contortionist.
Splits to get kind of on that thing.
Yeah, you Wagamama, sort out your benches, alright?
Yeah. Also, make sure.
And why do we have to sit on a table with strangers? Give us proper tables.
That's really annoying.
It is. But it was funny when I first took you to Wagamama the first time. We were sitting next to the couple that were on their first date.
That
was like, why would you take your first date to Wagamama?
Yeah.
And sit with a bunch of strangers at a table.
I could just forever remember how bored she looked. And the nodding, she just nodded a few times.
Yeah, do you think they noticed that we were laughing at them when we were sitting right next to them?
I hope not.
That would have made things so much more awkward for them.
Yeah, she was just like staring at food half the time as well.
Yeah.
I felt sorry for her.
Could you imagine how many first dates we've ruined? Like, us as, like, not just us two, I mean our group.
Yeah.
Like, we go out and eat at restaurants, like, all the time. And we're noisy and terrible. And, I mean, yeah, we're fun and stuff in our own group. And waiters don't seem to spit on our food. So that's all good. But could you imagine how annoying we are for everyone else in the restaurant?
I know.
And how many first dates we must have ruined.
Yeah. Also, we don't keep, like... I remember when we went to some cafe in Kingston. I think Freddie was saying that the guy next to us looked like a paedophile because he was on his laptop.
Yeah, and also, we're very loud as well, and we can't filter ourselves. So they probably hear everything we say about them.
Yeah. Oh, that's... Because we didn't talk about the dating guy too loudly, did we?
We were sitting right next to him, even if we didn't talk about him loudly. And yes, we did, because it was loud there. So we had to sort of shout to hear each other.
Yeah. I don't think
And he was sitting right next to us.
Yeah, I can't even remember what he was talking about now, but it's so boring.
It was the most boring shit.
It's about himself a lot, wasn't it?
Yeah, and you, on your first date, don't just talk constantly about yourself. You have to ask about the other person.
Yeah.
The woman barely spoke that whole time we were there.
Yeah. I don't know whether that's because she didn't have a chance to.
Can't believe their first date. No, their first date was at lunchtime in a Wagamama's at South Bank.
Yeah.
The worst place.
Yeah, that doesn't go down as one of the most successful.
If they're listening right now, hi.
Hi, yeah.
I mean, if somehow you made it and you're like engaged or married or knocked up, congratulations. We don't know how you did it, but you did.
I mean, without being harsh, I thought she was too good for him.
So did I. She's a lot prettier than him as well.
He was like balding or something, wasn't he?
He was boring and not very good looking. So
yeah.
Where's the appeal?
Yeah.
And seemed to be self-obsessed because he just talks about himself.
Yeah.
Where was the appeal?
Yeah.
And maybe it was a blind date.
You'd have to be very blind to go out with that.
Yeah, he was hoping she was blind.
Yeah.
Anyway, why are we talking about this?
I don't know. Maybe those two are together now and they're kind of gone a bit weird.
Maybe they'll be the next Theresa Duncan and the Jeremy Blake.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, anyway, I don't think there's much more we could say on this topic because me and Matt agreed the whole way through and it was very uncomfortable for us.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so final thoughts are I don't think Scientology did it and they were just a bit insane.
Yeah, sadly. I do like them, though, these two.
Well, I didn't actually look up any of the shit they did.
No, but I
like
the sound of them. I like the sound of her interest.
But sometimes people are so artistic, I don't like them.
Really?
As in, they see themselves as so artistic, I don't like them. As in, they come across a bit pretentious and stuff.
To be honest,
so I feel like if I read too much into these people, I'd probably feel that way about them.
Yeah. To be honest, though, I prefer pretentious.
You like pretentious people.
I prefer pretentious over the complete opposite, which is just your complete dullard who isn't interested in anything. You know, if you're so unimaginative, you can't even be interested in anything.
Well, the guy that we were sitting next to in Wagamama's.
That kind of guy.
Okay, anyway, I think we should probably bid good day.
Yeah.
To the lovely folks at the Scientology Centre that are listening to us.
Oh, we love you so much.
You know what? They probably had the pitchforks out at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah.
And like now they're just like, oh, okay, they didn't blame us.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? Everyone blames us.
Yeah.
Sometimes Scientology don't.
They're just so misunderstood, aren't they? These Scientologists.
Yeah, the poor Scientologists.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, they harass some people, but they don't harass all people.
Yeah.
Sure, their actions have led to some deaths, but not all deaths.
Yeah, you got to think about poor little Tom Cruise, you know. He loved Katie so much as he, you know, jumped on the sofa.
I actually gained like a semblance of respect for her. I still don't rate her much as an actress.
Yeah.
But she divorced him quick time.
Yeah.
And did it like an MI6 operation. It was brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah. She got out like Nicole Kidman did as well.
Yeah, but Nicole Kidman, she suffered.
Yeah.
Like, her divorce was long, and she didn't get any money, and she got her kids taken away from her. Katie Holmes, she got her kid.
That's good. That's the main thing.
Yeah. So anyway, Scientology sucks, but goodbye.
Yeah, bye.
Yeah, I think we're good there.
Yeah.